Good evening and welcome to our daily devotional reading. A special welcome to the members of our make-believe monastery. I am really happy to be with you again tonight or this morning. I do sometimes ask myself, what exactly is the purpose of these devotionals? Why am I doing it? Maybe you want to ask yourself the same question. Why are you having devotional readings every day? The thing is, and I think that relates to what I said yesterday about me not having structured knowledge. I generally read for transformation more than information, and this type of exercise most definitely is that. Reading for transformation. I'm kind of open, curious to see into what I will transform. But I suppose it must be wiser. The sun is very strong. It is wiser to actually have something in mind. It would be wiser. Well, wisdom, I suppose. We have wisdom in mind. We are doing the practice for the sake of wisdom. In search of wisdom. Trying to cultivate wisdom. Which is, after all, to whom the monastery is devoted. So maybe let us look at our relationship to wisdom. Privately, individually, in your own time. For now, let us turn inward, open our hearts and minds, and listen to Plato. Stranger. In the next place, let us make the reflection that the art of weaving clothes, which an incompetent person might fancy to have been sufficiently described, has been separated off from several others which are of the same family, but not from the cooperative arts. Young Socrates. And which are the kindred arts? Stranger. I see that I have not taken you with me. So I think that we had better go backwards, starting from the end. We just now parted out from the weaving of clothes, the making of blankets, which differ from each other, and that one is put under and the other is put around. And these are what I termed kindred arts. Oh, I understand. And we have subtracted the manufacture of all articles made of flax and cords, and all that we just now metaphorically termed the sinews of plants. And we have also separated off the process of felting and the putting together of materials by stitching and sewing, of which the most important part is the cobbler's art. Precisely. Then we separated off the courier's art, which prepared coverings in entire pieces, and the art of sheltering, and subtracted the various arts of making watertight which are employed in building, and in general in carpeting, and in other crafts, and all such arts of furnishing impediments to thieving and acts of violence, and are concerned with making the lids of boxes and the fixing of doors, being divisions of the art of joining. And we also cut off the manufacture of arms, which is a section of the great and manifold art of making defenses. And we originally began by parting of the whole of the magic art, which is concerned with antidotes, and have found, as would appear, the very art of which we were in search, the art of protection against winter cold, which fabricates woolen defenses and has the name of weaving. Very true. Stranger, yes, my boy, but that is not all, for the first process to which the material is subjected is the opposite of weaving. How so? Weaving is a sort of uniting, intertwining, yes. But the first process is a separation of the clotted and the matted fibers. What do you mean? I mean the work of the carder's art, for we cannot say that carding is weaving, or that the carder is a weaver. Certainly not. Again, if a person were to say that the art of making a warp and the woof was the art of weaving, he would say what was paradoxical and false. To be sure, shall we say that the whole art of the fuller or of the mender has nothing to do with the care and treatment of clothes, or are we to regard all these as arts of weaving? Certainly not. And yet surely all these arts will maintain that they are concerned with the treatment and production of clothes. They will dispute the exclusive prerogative of weaving, and though assigning a larger sphere to that, will still reserve a considerable field for themselves. Very true. Besides these, there are the arts which make tools and instruments of weaving, and which will claim at least to be cooperative causes in every work of the weaver. Most true. Stranger, well then, suppose that we define weaving, or rather that part of it which has been selected by us, to be the greatest and noblest of arts, which are concerned with woolen garments. Shall we be right? Is not the definition, although true, wanting in clearness and completeness? For do not all those other arts require to be first cleared away? True. Then the next thing will be to separate them in order that the argument may proceed in a regular manner. By all means, let us consider in the first place that there are two kinds of arts entering into everything which we do. What are they? The one kind is the conditional or cooperative, the other the principal cause. What do you mean? The arts which do not manufacture the actual thing, but which furnish the necessary tools for the manufacture, without which the several arts could not fulfill their appointed work, are cooperative, but those which make the things themselves are causal. A very reasonable distinction. Thus the arts which make spindles, combs, and other instruments of the production of clothes may be called cooperative, and those which treat and fabricate the things themselves causal. Very true. the arts of washing and mending, and the other preparatory arts which belong to the causal class and form a division of the great art of adornment, may be all comprehended under what we call the fuller's art. Very good. Carding and spinning threads and all the parts of the process which are concerned with the actual manufacture of a woolen garment from a single art, which is one of those universally acknowledged, the art of working in wool. To be sure. Of working in wool, again, there are two divisions, and both these are parts of two arts at once. How is that? Carding and one half of the use of the comb, and the other process of wool working, which separates the composite, may be classed together as belonging both to the art of wool working and also to one of the two great arts which are of universal application, the art of composition and the art of division. Yes. To the latter belong carding and the other process of which I was just now speaking, the art of discernment or division in wool and yarn, which is effected in one manner with the comb and in another with the hands, variously described under all the names which I just now mentioned. Very true. Again, let us take some process of wool working, which is also a portion of the art of composition, and dismissing the elements of division which we found there, make two halves, one on the principle of composition and the other on the principle of division. Let that be done. And once more, Socrates, we must divide the part which belongs at once both to wool working and composition, if we were ever to discover satisfactorily the aforesaid art of weaving. We must. Yes, certainly, and let us call one part of the art of twisting threads, the other the art of combining them. Do I understand you, in speaking of twisting, to be referring to the manufacture of the warp? Yes, and of the woof too. How, if not by twisting, is the woof made? There is no other way. Then suppose that you define the warp and the woof, for I think that the definition will be of use to you. How shall I define them? As thus. A piece of carded wool which is drawn out lengthwise and breadthwise is said to be pulled out. Yes, and the wool thus prepared, when twisted by the spindle and made into a firm thread, is called the warp. And the art which regulates these operations, the art of spinning the warp. True. And the threads which are more loosely spun, having a softness proportioned to the intertexture of the warp and to the degree of force used in dressing the cloth, the threads which are thus spun are called the woof, and the art which is set over them may be called the art of spinning the woof. Very true. And now there can be no mistake about the nature of the part of weaving which we have undertaken to define. For when that part of the art of composition which is employed in the working of wool forms a web by the regular intertexture of warp and woof, the entire woven substance is called by us a woolen garment, and the art which presides over this is the art of weaving. Very true. Stranger. But why did we not say at once that weaving is the art of entwining warp and woof, instead of making a long and useless circuit? Young Socrates. I thought, stranger, that there was nothing useless in what you said. Stranger. Very likely. But you may not always think so, my sweet friend. And in case any feeling of dissatisfaction should hereafter arise in your mind, as it very well may, let me lay down a principle which will apply to arguments in general. Proceed. Thus far our scripture of the evening. Four pages concerned with weaving. So the only thing I thought I could do was show you some of my weaving work. I am only a beginner, very much so. This is not how one generally weaves, but the lady from whom I had weaving lessons, this is also not a regular pattern. I'm combining two different ways of weaving in this pattern. This is the needle with which I weave. The lady from which I learned often travels, and she can't take her, oh my word, the machine you weave with her. So she found a way to just weave on cardboard. The idea was for me to weave little squares and then make little bags and make little coins that can be used in divination, specifically the I Ching's divination, and give that as birthday presents to my friends who live far away. I have not done so. I am being a very bad friend this year. I hope they will forgive me. And that I would get to that in the next round. So that's weaving. I was thinking of the symbolism in weaving, possible symbolism. So these cords you do put first, and this wool needs to be quite strong. And it's just there to give the structure. This can be quite soft and not as strong. I use it doubly because it's too thin, to give it the texture. So there's something of structure and texture in there that needs to interplay in order to make a woolen garment. Rebecca is a vegan, so I will have to find non-wool, which is very easy to do, to weave with for her. I am in the unfortunate, I also did this today. I have his left eye down, but I just can't do his right eye. That's right, like this is left. Yeah. So the video stopped, so I stopped. I'm not gonna finish it. I am in the fortunate position to have too many hobbies. I think I could survive retirement. The kindred arts. I wrote down. So I'm gonna jump to possible interpretation of the text, which will probably follow. I have to say this because it's so in the forefront of my mind. I think I will not be able to think of anything else until I say it, but it's not relevant. I think the right word to use when I'm questioning Socrates' arguments is that it's not sound, not that it's not valid. But I will have to look at that video again because of something that Folly said somewhere else. So he's working with tools. So he's using clothes made by weaving or blankets made by weaving as, I would imagine, garments made by weaving as an analogy of people. And he is going to say that even though many people are responsible for the care of people, the noble art, the one that unites them, because he here separates uniting and separation, the one who unites them is the art of statesmanship. But there are a lot of people who contribute to the weaving being able to be done. Those who make the tools necessary, those who prepare the wool, the food, I imagine, for people and everything they need to be able to prosper, etc. So that is what I'm foreseeing. Suppose we will know tomorrow. I do think this uniting principle is going to be important. That being said, I hope you have peace. And that your heart is as united as possible. There's blossoms blowing in front of my window, which is very high. I do not know how that is even possible. But it's beautiful. May the spirit of Sophia be with you.